Hey, welcome back to the channel, Fully Invested Phi Labs. Hope everyone had a good Christmas and is hopefully still on a holiday break going into the new year in a couple of days. Yeah, I just came back from spending some time with the in-laws, which is nice and relaxing. But yeah, getting back to it with YouTube. Yeah, today I wanted to follow up on my last video about retirement accounts. Yeah, I had a lot of great comments and feedback. Had a lot of good back and forths, specifically about like SCHD, and then also maybe some tax things that I wasn't fully taking advantage of or taking account of, really. I wanted to kind of highlight how I'll be rebalancing things going into 2026. So yeah, in part, thanks to some of the comments and also some stuff that I've just been thinking about for a while as I was kind of letting the retirement account sit this year. And also I wanted to highlight a great comment and call out from someone that led me down the rabbit hole of looking at backdoor Roth transfers more closely versus the pro-rata rule that happens with IRAs and also solo 401ks. So yeah, as a note too, this is the kind of content I'll be doing on the companion channel going forward after the end of January 2026. Covering my retirement accounts, covering my family's retirement accounts. I'm handling my mom's ones since she retired last year or this year. And then on the main channel, I'll mostly cover things exclusively related to the main taxable brokerage account where I have all my high yield stuff and my early retirement stuff that I'm pushing for over there. So yeah, that's coming up fast. Yeah, hopefully by the end of January, I'll have 2 of my strikes off, and then I'll be back to posting on there, and then also just occasionally posting on the companion channel. So yeah, before we properly get started, of course, just the usual disclaimer. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing here should be taken as financial, investment, or tax advice. All I'm doing is simply sharing my personal investing journey and documenting my own results. Investing always carries risk, especially when using margin, and you can lose money and principal. Don't copy what I'm investing in blindly without understanding the risks and really doing your own due diligence and research on your own. No returns are guaranteed. Before we properly get started, as usual, for anyone that's new to the channel or needs a refresher, you can see this flowchart of how I invest 100% of my paychecks every month in both growth and high yield income ETFs and live out of my brokerage account. I just show all of this transparently as I do like every week, every other week. So you see all my real dollar amounts, all my real percentages, and see how I do it practically. So really what that means at a minimum is that 10.8K gets invested every month into the portfolio, and that I pay bills out of my Robinhood brokerage account. I don't use a traditional bank account anymore. I fully live out of my Robinhood brokerage account. If you want an in-depth breakdown of this, you can watch the video at the top right over here where I give a pretty in-depth breakdown of it all. Let's just dive right in. So if we pop over to the right here. So I had this great comment posted by Rayben397 on the last video about my two-prong retirement plan. And yeah, he mentioned the pro-rata rule given that I have a traditional IRA now. So basically what happened is that I had a Roth IRA before I was doing backdoor transfers, right? And then when I left some previous jobs, I rolled over all my 401ks into my rollover IRA back in Fidelity. Just because I wanted to have better control and centralize everything as far as like what I invested in. So what I didn't realize was that I was hitting on the pro rata rule, even though as I was doing the backdoor transfers. So turns out I shouldn't have been doing that, and that my tax person didn't quite catch that when I did my rollovers. So yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to address with her in this coming tax season to see if like I might have to amend some previous taxes and things like that, and see what I do this year to fix that up. But that kind of led me down the rabbit hole of kind of fixing that. So now that I have basically both a traditional IRA or rollover IRA coupled with a Roth IRA, that cuts me off technically from doing backdoor Roth transfers tax-free, because the IRS basically treats IRAs as all one pool of money. They're not sure what's tax-free and what's tax-deferred between the Roth IRA and the traditional, right? So from further research, and like, yeah, Rayben was absolutely right. But from further research, how I could address this is that I have basically 2 options, or 3 really. So I need to basically get my traditional IRA down to 0, just so I can get back to doing backdoor transfers. So I either need to roll my traditional IRA to my work 401k, even though I don't have a match, or create a solo 401k, given that I have a sole proprietor business essentially through my YouTube income and some side gig income. So yeah, or really I just do nothing, right? And just kind of stop contributing to the Roth IRA. But yeah, for one, I really didn't want to roll things over in my work 401k just because from reading reviews about it, like we use Voya. I heard like some bad customer service stories as far as transfers in and out of the account. So I didn't kind of want to not deal with that for now. So in my mind, I opted for the solo 401k and has been researching it the whole last week. And yeah, so given that I have side income coming in as a sole proprietor, I could totally open that. All I need would be an EIN with the IRS, which I can apply for. That's what I opted for. And then yesterday I kind of started going through the motions of doing that. So in the end, I kind of came down to two things. Like I was either looking at investing or starting a solo 401k in E-Trade, which I had existing accounts for. Like my previous job had their stock accounts in there. So that's why I have an E-Trade account already, or the Fidelity one. And I ended up opting for E-Trade just because, no fees or anything like that. But the key thing differentiated between this and Fidelity is that you're able to borrow against your 401k account in a pinch. So like, this is really just for like super emergency. Like ideally I never have to do this, but it's just nice to have the option. So I kind of settled on doing E-Trade because of this, and Fidelity didn't have that option. I really just got started on that process yesterday, really. So I applied for an EIN with the IRS to my sole proprietor business. So that got approved right away, and I got the number, which was great. And then I went into E-Trade and actually requested the transfer from Robinhood to E-Trade. So yeah, so actually what happened yesterday is that I actually liquidated my traditional IRA. So I sold out of VGT and SCHD. And yes, you can kind of see the SCHD sell here, for example. So I just got everything to cash to make it simpler for the transfer. And I requested the transfer. But what happened is that I realized midway through applying for the solo 401k is that the strategy wasn't going to work. And I already requested the transfer. Everything was in flight. And I was like, dang. So what happened was that as I was doing the full solo 401k account, when I got to the income portion of like how much my business was actually making, I realized like, oh, I'm actually not making any positive income currently because I'm not making enough revenue quite yet, given all the deductions that I'm making. So actually my sole proprietor stuff is actually in the negative because of that, right? Because I just have like quite a bit of deductions still, and my income hasn't quite outpaced that yet. Hopefully as a YouTube grows and things like that, that will change in the next few years. And so the key thing is that your solo 401k does need positive income to determine how much you can actually contribute. So that ended up putting a wrench in the whole plan. So really like hours later, I was like contacting E-Trade. I got him on the phone to cancel everything. And I called the rep. He said like, okay, I put in the transfer cancellation. And then I got a call a couple hours later and he said, oh, actually we can't do it. And I was like, oh, dang. Okay. So I look into the stuff when I got home and I saw that like, looks like turns out he applied it to the wrong account. And then so I called back, and then turns out the second rep was able to actually help me and file the cancellation for the right account. And this morning, everything went through fine. So that was good, but I was a bit nervous about that all yesterday. I even had to call Robinhood to double check. And then turns out they do contact you once they get that request to confirm whether you want to send out assets or not. So I had that fallback in case the E-Trade stuff still fell through. But yeah, that was a whole ordeal yesterday. It really felt like, you know, that meme of like the guy putting a stick in his own bike. That's really what it felt like. But yeah, in the end, it was a relief because like I was willing to pay the cost at the time, but like had the money been taken out of Robinhood, basically I would have lost my transfer bonus that I got when I transferred into Robinhood from Fidelity. And then also I would have had to pay $100 transfer fee. So yeah, glad I didn't lose any of that. And yeah, that's just going to sit there in Robinhood for now until I decide what to do. Like if ever I transfer out, I will still lose that. But for now, that's staying put. But yeah, in the end, though, that gave me a good opportunity to rebalance my rollover IRA. So yeah, what I might do is I'm not going to opt to do any backdoor Roths going forward for the next little while. I might just contribute maybe to the traditional IRA directly, given to take advantage of the Robinhood's 3% match that comes with the gold membership, which is nice. We'll see though. I need to research that some more and whether that's worth it or not, given that like you'd have to pay taxes on like the 7,000 or whatnot. So yeah. Or maybe once my work adds their 401k match, maybe then I really transfer everything over there and I can resume my Roth transfers that way. But for now, I'm just going to everything stay put. I'll keep my cash back bonuses and all that stuff. So yeah, that was a whole ordeal yesterday. But yeah, as far as that, so that's where I landed after all that craziness. But well, yeah, one thing that happened this morning because I wanted to get everything reinvested in my traditional IRA here. And then also that kind of prompted me to do the same for my Roth IRA to kind of rebalance things. So taking some comments under advisement from people and then also my own feelings of it, like I did rebalance things. So now roughly 75% of my 401k and my rollover IRA essentially is in VGT. and then 25% roughly is an SPMO. So I landed on those two. Like VGT have like always held like across different accounts, so I just love the tech exposure there, and I think like that's just kind of self-cleansing and will keep updating on its own, which is great. They'll always get the big tech winners, and so just bigger exposure to that, given that like this account's just going to sit for 25 years and ideally I'm not going to touch it too much. And then I opted to do SPMO instead of VU, which I also hold in my taxable. And yeah, I chose SPMO instead of VU because it has better performance overall, and I do like its little active management layer that it has as far as like rebalancing, as far as picking high momentum players within the S&P 500, and how that's helped like outperform VU and even be slightly less volatile than VU. So yeah, that's why I picked those two and rebalance things in that. So have it like a clean 100,000 in VGT and then 33.5K or so in SPMO. You can kind of see the buys here that happened, right? So yeah, these ones over here. And yeah, and then as far as my Roth IRA, so if we pop over there, so a little bit of cleanup here. So I used to have Microsoft in here and I had like almost 100% gains on it. Like it's a position that started at 2,000 and ended at 4,000 something. So you can kind of see what I sold for here, right? And yeah, so for that one, really the idea for that was just to kind of remove any single stock risk in the Roth IRA, and just I pushed all those Microsoft earnings into VGT. So I hold VGT in here as well too. So yeah, just want to remove any single stock risks. Like in a way, Bitcoin is kind of that, but that's its own thing. And yeah, and then also what I'm doing now is that any BTCI dividends that I'm receiving, I'm just actually investing that into IBIT. So just kind of carrying both a covered call and a pure Bitcoin play there. And just, yeah, especially given that I'm not going to be contributing to this account as much anymore. Like, yeah, that may be a thing here where I'm just kind of using that money to invest into other things. So namely IBIT for now. But maybe in the future, if like Bitcoin gets really expensive, maybe that could go in VGT potentially too. So yeah, that's the big retirement cleanup that I did this week. So yeah, ended up being a good retirement rebalancing and cleanup day in the last 2 days, really. And yeah, that's where things landed. That's pretty much the video. Quick one compared to my longer ones lately. But yeah, as far as next videos, yeah, look forward tomorrow to the final 100% paycheck investing video of the year tomorrow. Yeah, crazy. That's been already 7 months since I started the channel, and all the craziness, the ups and downs that have happened. So I appreciate everyone sticking through with me across both channels and all the craziness. So yeah, and then on the following days, probably like on the 1st or 2nd or whatnot, I'll probably do a big year-end portfolio update, looking back on the last several months and starting the strategy, look at projections, year's performance, and then also the last few weeks that I missed, since I missed a couple of portfolio update videos. And yeah, and I'll probably maybe do a separate video going over a Sankey chart from Monarch, just to kind of really look at the breakdown of like where all my income went, where all my expenses went this year, and kind of have a little retrospective on that and compare it to past years. Always love doing that in Monarch and just kind of digging through all those numbers. Love my stats, as you can probably tell. But yeah, as usual, if you want to follow me off YouTube, there's lots of different ways of doing that. You can do it on Blossom Social over here. You'll see all my trades. Yeah, I think you could probably see some of my trades that happened here with selling Microsoft, buying VGT. I bought GOW this morning with some Snowball earnings here, buying SPMO and all that. So yeah, that's a great way to follow me. There's also Snowball Analytics, of course. As mentioned, I love my stats. I love my charts. You can kind of see everything broken down pretty clearly. All my total profits, like, yeah. I'm all about transparency, not hiding any of my numbers, not hiding any of my percentages. You can kind of fully see there. I really put my money where my mouth is, so you can kind of see exactly what I'm invested in. And yeah, and then of course there's the Patreon as well too. Like really, this is just like a repository in case there's any more shenanigans on YouTube. So I upload any new videos here, day and date, and then also all my backlog across both channels are in here. So if you want to keep tabs on that, just in case anything happens on YouTube, there's that. And finally, of course, there's the Discord. Yeah, we're pushing 200 members strong now. And by the way, all the things that I've mentioned, the links are down below in the description. It's all free. Yeah, my Discord's completely free as well too. Like lots of great conversation and a lot of other people that are living out of their brokerage and not using different strategies, whether it's growth, high yield ETFs, a hybrid. So a lot of great conversation here and of like-minded individuals. Everyone's like very helpful. Like I answer questions, other people answer questions. So yeah, if you want to join, definitely give it a shot. And yeah, and I'll catch you in the next video tomorrow. Last video of the year, crazy. So again, Merry belated Christmas to anyone that celebrates. If you got some value out of this and you're excited to follow future portfolio updates, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.